This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
Oh, this is a nostalgic one. It's National Love Note Day, which is taking me back to like grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, when you get a note and they'd fold it up all nicely on a piece of loose leaf paper, and some girls were talented enough to like fold it into a little envelope, and they would pass it to you, and you'd unfurl it, and you'd see like, oh, what did they say? And it was usually like a, do you like me? 3 boxes. Yes, no, maybe.
Oh, I watched other kids do that, and I longed for a love note. Nobody ever sent me one. But yes, I've heard of said love note, but they're just so great. Like as an adult, when you're with your partner.
You get them as an adult?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Every now and then, Paul will send me a love note, and I actually will write back, love note.
Like handwritten, like sprayed with perfume?
No. What?
That's what they used to do,
No,
man.
like a text.
Well, that's not a love note.
That's a love note. Yes.
If it's on text, judges, if it's on text, is it a love note?
Yeah.
No, man.
It's modern.
He's thinking about me in the day, and he sends me a love note. It's like short and sweet.
But Pooja writes back, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, yeah. Okay, let me give you a love note. I've written out something on a little loose leaf paper for my girl Coffee.
Oh, for
Take
Coffee
my
the
paper
Pooch.
here.
Okay.
Yes, this is a love note. It's tactile. You ready? Mm-hmm. Dearest Coffee, oh, my floofy little side-eye queen. It's as if you can see into my soul and are mildly disappointed I'm not giving you belly rubs at this very moment. You've been my best friend, my confidant, and most Sunday mornings, my personal therapist. You listen without judgment, except for that one time I ate the last scoop of peanut butter. You were pissed. But even then, you forgave me. Just like the time I scared you with my screaming after a Leafs playoff OT winner. You have me wrapped around your paw, and when you roll over and give me that look that says, you may begin rubbing my belly, I know I'm serving greatness. So here's to you, my majestic furball bestie. May your naps be long, your treats be endless, and your eye rolls extra rolly? Sexily yours.
What?
Me.
Oh, wow. I hope you never end a love note like that for anybody else. Because that will get you in trouble.
You don't like sexily yours?
No. Also, that is not a love note. That's a love letter.
Oh.
That was long.
What's the difference?
It's just supposed to be short and sweet.
Oh.
Okay, like this is one I would write to Paul. Like I should just type it out right now. Here it is. I love you, always, forever, near or far, closer together.
Hold on, that's Donna Lewis.
Everywhere, I will be with you.
That's just Donna Lewis.
Everything I will do for you.
That's plagiarism.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
I have a problem.
Where do we start?
Yeah.
Which problem are you referring to?
Well, it's a crying problem.
Okay.
I saw Come From Away, the Mervis show, for the 6th time.
Great show.
It's so good, but it used to be that I would cry at certain parts, and now that I've seen it so many times and I know everything that's coming, and the music is all very Pavlovian because I know what it leads into, and it was 100 minutes with no intermission of me crying.
Come on.
Yeah, and this time I was prepared. I brought a fanny pack and lots of Kleenex, and you should have seen the pile in my lap at the end of the show. It was embarrassing. There were people beside me going like, "Are you okay, man?"
I thought because you know what's coming, that would actually sort of like toughen you up.
Yeah, and I won't say if you haven't seen it because I don't want to give anything away, but it's just it's such a happy, funny, amazing show. There are sad parts. There are joyous parts.
Some of those are happy tears too.
Oh, I had cried happy tears at the happy parts. I cried sad tears at the sad parts, and you mix it all together. The tears just interspersed. I didn't know what was happy and what was sad. It was just one big, messy, musical Pavlovian mix, and it was beautiful and therapeutic. But man, I cried the entire time.
When did like the snot bubbles factor in?
Honestly, Pooja, like 4 minutes in, I was shocked. It was like, I'm an islander, I am an islander. And I'm like crying in the opening sequence.
Look, crying is therapeutic. I don't want to poo-poo crying. Crying is a good thing. But I feel like...
Tell me you're a parent when they tell me poo-poo, crying.
It's all good. But the thing is, with you in particular, it's now Come From Away, so it's like a lot of musicals make you cry. You've told me about musicals in the past,
all of them,
that have made you cry.
Yeah.
Anything animated, Pixar makes you cry.
Yeah, anything with a dog.
Yeah, anything with a dog, a pet. Hallmark Christmas movies.
I haven't watched them, but probably yeah.
They make
Chalk
you
'em
cry.
up.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think like this all chalks up to you just being
Soft.
no, this in
Not a
touch with
man.
your emotions.
Oh, okay.
In touch with your emotions.
Yes, for sure. Because this didn't used to happen to me in my 20s. I could watch sad stuff and like not feel nothing, but just be like, oh, like register, like that's sad.
Yeah,
like I am a sociopath. That is sad. I imagine. But now it's like I've gone so far the other way that it's like I feel everything. Like a 30-second Kleenex spot can do it.
You're growing up, kid. That's what that means.
But
you're just growing up.
You're older than me. You're not that soft.
No, I'm not.
No, you're kind of, some might say, emotionless a little bit.
No, it's not true. I think that when you've been through some, adversity, when you've been through some tough things, it toughens you up a little bit. Like it hardens you.
I know, but I've been through tough things now, and it's softened me up.
Okay,
it's bruised me like a peach.
So maybe there's other ways you can go. I think with me, it's hardened me a little bit because it just you go through things that sometimes feel hopeless that you have to harden yourself.
Okay, so I'm a mushy fruit, and you are Medusa. Got it.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
What's the thing that always makes you cry? This after we learned that Gurdeep cries at every musical he attends, anything that's animated, anything that's pet related, anything that's like a rom-com.
It's because I went to see Come From Away for the 6th time, and it's so good. Happy tears, sad tears, all the tears. It was 100 straight minutes of uninterrupted crying, and you know what? I felt great after.
I'm sure.
My eyes were puffy for a whole day.
That's okay. It gives you that like misty look.
Thanks. Appreciate it. What's the thing that always makes you cry? I can't be alone here, right? Michelle from Colburn?
Animals getting injured or dying in movies.
Oh gosh, yeah, that'll do it.
Like Marley and Me, I threw that DVD out after I watched it.
Oh, no.
I haven't even watched that one because everyone has told me how much it's going to make me cry, and I can't.
Yeah, like I can watch true crime all day long, but animals getting injured, no.
You're like, serial killers, totally fine. You're like a dog injuring its paw. I can't do it.
Pretty much.
Michelle, thanks so much for the call.
You're welcome.
What's the thing that always makes you cry? Getting a text from Nicole in Milton. Those military coming home videos always make me sob. Oh, yes.
Oh, gosh. When I was coming back from the airport last week, there was a family that had a sign waiting for their dad who was coming back.
Yes.
I was like,
it gets me every time as well, Nicole. Let's go to Cecile. What is that thing that always makes you cry?
The movie Black. It's an Indian movie, and it is starring Reddy Mukherjee and Amitabh Bachchan.
Oh,
it's the story of Helen Geller.
Oh.
Helen Geller, yes. And I've seen the plays in English. I've seen the movie in other version. Just the thought of it will make me cry in the car right now.
Wow. You know what? I will say this about Bollywood movies. They have my number when it comes to making me cry. They've figured out the formula. They know what to do to pull at the heartstrings. They're really good at it.
They do it over a very succinct 4 hours.
Oh, tell me about it. I was making noises and everything. It was so sad.
Cecile, thank you so much for the call. Drive safely,
You're
okay?
most welcome. Have a great day, you guys. I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
What's the thing that always makes you cry? Jason Hall from Toronto texting in saying, I cry every day when my kids find their way home.
What?
Wow, Jason. Wow.
Okay. What's that thing that always makes you cry? Amanda from Toronto.
It's actually kind of funny. It's paramedics or a fire truck.
What?
Because literally I feel bad for the person who we're going to take care of, so I actually start crying a little bit. Or
So if
say
you
a little
see,
prayer.
so if you see a fire truck or an ambulance with its sirens on going somewhere or to the hospital, it makes you cry.
Makes me a little tear up just because I'm hoping that the person's okay that's inside the truck.
Oh, wow.
That's really sweet. You are clearly a very empathetic individual.
Did you say a little prayer?
I basically say a little prayer because I hope that they're okay.
Amanda, you're going to make me cry right
Yeah,
now.
That's really sweet. Amanda, thanks so much for sharing that. We appreciate you listening.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
I'm wondering about your dating deal breakers because there's a new study out. I don't know if this qualifies as breaking news. Maybe this is the Captain Obvious department that put this together. A new study finds that kind people are more attractive.
No.
If you're kind, you are perceived as more attractive.
Obviously.
Right?
Yes, of course. I mean, what is not to like about somebody who is kind? Somebody who's kind, generous, giving. These are all really good qualities. I don't think I've ever heard of somebody go, he's nearly perfect. He's just too kind.
Right.
Too kind.
And this actually goes both ways because I think this has happened for all of us. You've met someone where, or you meet someone who for physically you're like they're very attractive. You see them and then you get to know them and maybe their personality is or they're kind of rude or or they're holier than thou, and then you're like all of a sudden over time they don't appear that attractive to you anymore because you get to know them and you don't like their personality. And then conversely, maybe there's someone who you wouldn't naturally give a second look to,
right?
But then you get to know them and they are the kindest, sweetest person. They have a great personality, and then you start to see them as attractive because of who they are.
They become more attractive.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I guess I'm more wondering, we know kindness is beautiful and attractive, but what are the things that are unattractive? What are the dating deal breakers? What are the things that right away you're like, red flag, no thank you, and you're in that world, you're in the dating world, so like, do you have a list? Is it long? Will we be here for a while?
Make it sound like a whole separate list. No, my list is simple. It's little things. There's no, it's like, we talked about this because it was punctuation day. If someone is terrible with their grammar, like they don't know the difference between there and your, they use all short forms, they can't spell words, that's a turnoff for me, and like I'll usually put a stop to it right there.
Really? Okay, so like we're ruling out all young people. Okay, go on.
No, there are people who were hooked on phonics. It's fine.
Okay, what else?
I mean, nothing crazy. That's really...
I know that you don't like when people waste food. So if you go out on a date...
Food wastage is a big one. Yes, okay. Like either get your leftovers packed or eat it at the dinner. Like don't just be like, oh, yeah, you can take it away. That's a huge... Like I will take your leftovers home and eat them.
Right. What about if they like show up late? Is that okay with you?
No, because that's... I've probably been on someone's dating deal breaking list because I've showed up late.
Wow. Okay. Is there more? What if they don't get along with your friends?
That one we need to workshop a little bit. There's layers there. But here's my thing though. Why does it have to be like physically attractive and mean, or you're not physically attracted to and nice? Like, couldn't there be some crossover here? Like, why can't we find? I'm just looking for my nice and pretty.
Yeah. Well, that could exist, right? Where somebody's attractive and then they're kind, and on top of it, because they're kind, it actually makes them even more attractive.
That's called a unicorn. You find that, you lock it down.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Today is Hug a Vegetarian Day. Get over here, Pooji.
If only we hugged. I'm not good at hugging, right? Every time I go in for a hug, it's awkward.
Yep, confirmed.
There's been a few times I've hugged you and then I've given you COVID.
Yeah, the first time we ever hugged was when you told me that you were going to have a child. And I'm like, this warrants a hug. And we did it, and you gave me COVID.
Yeah. So I'm never going to live that one down. Here's the thing. I have questions. I'm not good at hugging. I admit that. But for people who are good at hugging, like, how did you become good at it?
This isn't something you have to practice, Pooch. This is one of those innate. These are the times I start to think you might be a robot. Like, what? You asked me before how to handshake. I'm like, these are just things you observe by osmosis being a human. Like, the first thing that happens to you when you were born, when you were birthed, when you come into this world, is your mother swaddles you.
My mom...
holds you and like hugs you and cradles you. This is in your bones from the moment you are born.
She hugged me a lot as a child, and I'm actually very affectionate with my loved ones, like with my husband, with my kids. I hug them. I'm really good at it with them.
You just don't know how to hug people you don't love?
Maybe it's
so that
possible.
Means
I
do. You don't love any of us?
Maybe it's a different kind of love.
Work friend love is a different kind of love.
Like, I also don't know how long you hold the hug for. How do people just know? Like, I always release too fast.
If you're questioning how long you're holding it too long. You're being a creep.
I always feel like it's too long, so I'm always the first to pull away, and then they want to hug longer. And then
Pooja instantly feels it's too long. So this is why we have a problem. Like right away, it's too long.
Yeah.
Our timing is off. And then like when I do the pat on the back, I'm the only one who's patting. How come they're not patting me? You know when you hug and then you pat on the back?
This isn't like a space launch. Like, this is just a hug. It's a quick hug and then release and move on with your day.
You never pat.
I pat if I'm hugging you and you're holding on too long. I'm giving the pat to be like, all right, release.
Oh, is that what the signal is when I'm patting people?
See, she does it right away.
Yeah. The problem is you come in patting. You're coming in, your hands are already flapping.
Look, this is not helpful. How am I going to become a better hugger? I need your help.
Hug a Vegetarian Day is canceled.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
the Pooja and Gurdeep Show presents
You're doing it wrong.
Oh, come on.
Kiwis.
What?
You're doing kiwis wrong.
I don't even know how to do kiwis the right way. That's not even something that's in my universe on the regular.
Okay, let's say you buy some kiwis and
Never
you're
happened.
cutting
Okay.
one open.
Yep.
How would you go about eating it?
Honestly, I don't know. Do you skin a kiwi like a potato?
You really don't have a way? You just
I've eaten kiwis a few times, but it's always been in a setting where there's like, oh, there's a charcuterie board and there's some kiwis, or oh, I'm at a restaurant, there's like kiwis.
so it's already like sliced.
I've never ever purchased. I know they're fuzzy and they're brown. Mm-hmm. I'll just play along. Do you cut into it like right down the middle?
Okay, that's how most people would eat a kiwi. Some people use a spoon and they actually like scoop out
Honestly,
all the good stuff.
My instinct would probably be to use a potato peeler and skin the brown fuzz off. Is that not how you do it?
So I think that's most people's instinct is to just eat it without the skin because the skin is a little hard, it's a little rough, it's a little fuzzy. Some people even complain of a reaction to the skin. Does that ever happen to you?
I don't know if it's the skin, but whenever I eat kiwis, no joke, my mouth swells up and I sound like this. My kiwis, my tongue gets real thick.
You're not alone on that.
Yeah.
But you know the actress Jenna Ortega?
Oh, she's fantastic.
She plays Wednesday.
Yeah.
She went viral on TikTok because of the way she eats a kiwi, which is whole. She just bites into it like an apple.
Isn't this how you eat a banana?
No.
You eat the skin, don't you?
No.
Didn't she tell us that once?
How did this turn into a rumor?
You're apparently supposed to eat the skin like in a smoothie, but Pooja never said that.
Are you
eat it like
spreading
that.
false
Didn't you
lies?
say you eat the bananas green and
I
you
like
eat them?
them green.
You eat them whole.
I take off the skin. Oh my gosh. Okay. The kiwis.
You could go viral too.
The kiwi, she bites into it like an apple.
Oh.
And here's the reason, okay? When you eat the skin, you actually get 50% more fiber and more vitamins and nutrients just by eating the skin. And if the skin's not appealing to you, there's smoother varieties. There's one called Sun Gold. It has a smoother variety in terms of skin. And some people even say it tastes better with the skin. And according to a gastroenterologist,
What?
That's what they're
A
called.
gastroenterologist?
Yeah.
Gastroenterologist.
She has a kiwi in her mouth.
You turned him into a gastroenterologist and an astronaut.
This is why
You're going to a gastronaut.
I should never explain the science. There's gut benefits as well. So high vitamin C levels, okay? It's good for bacterial growth and it helps prevent constipation.
Okay, wonderful. So you try this with a banana and you record it and you report back.
What does this have to do with bananas?
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
So we had a post-show meeting and we were all sort of intense in the meeting trying to get some stuff done. And
Believe it or not, we prep for this show.
Yes.
I know it sounds like we're just flying by the seat of our pants, but we prep.
We still fly by the seat of our pants
true.
a lot. But as we were in this intense meeting, we had a coworker who we love pop in. We're calling them now the lingerer because they just could not read the room.
At one point, I left to go get a breakfast sandwich, and I came back, and they were still there. That's true.
We were giving like one-word answers, like we're just trying to move on. I don't know why. Maybe just this coworker didn't have a lot to do, maybe, but we had a lot to do.
Yeah, we were in work mode, and they were in linger and stop and chat mode, and it just did not fly. And we want to know there's all kinds of different people in the office, different personalities. What are the office types we're missing?
Okay, Christine from Innisfil, what's that for you?
Smoker.
Oh, the smoker.
All the smoke breaks,
Taking
all
a
the coffee
break.
breaks.
Oh my God, they smoke like crazy. It's disappearing.
It's not fair. Like, it's like a break every half hour to go hack a dart. I'm like, we don't get these kind of breaks just because we don't smoke.
I'm going to start doing that for like Timbits, like donuts. I'm
Yeah.
leaving for a donut break.
You have a sugar addiction. You need a Timbit every half hour. Why don't you just buy a dozen? No, you got to go buy one each time.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Christine, thanks for the call. Can you even buy one Timbit? I think you can.
Can you?
I think so.
Okay, I'm leaving.
No, not yet. We're in
My
the middle of
break.
the segment.
Okay, fine.
What are the office types that we are missing?
Cynthia from Milton, what's it for you?
Join the personal conversation that clearly has nothing to do with you.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Is it because they were eavesdropping? They're the eavesdropper?
No, so we were having a pretty intense conversation, and they came up behind us, and they're like, so what are we talking about? And we're like, a recipe? I don't know. This has nothing. Go away. I don't even know who you are.
They're like, we're not talking about anything, conversation joiner.
I mean, read the room. Like, we were talking really closely. We weren't in a general area. And, oh, my God, we just had to, so anyway, we started talking about something that was so uncomfortable, he left.
Oh, I love that. Cynthia, thank you so much for sharing. That's hilarious.
Have a great Friday.
What are the office types, the unique office types you've got? Let's do one more here. Christine in Toronto.
There's the Goldilocks.
The Goldilocks? What's that?
That's somebody who is never satisfied. Usually it's about the temperature.
So, this is the person who thinks it's too hot in here, it's too cold in here. They're never satisfied.
There's something wrong with my chair. There's something wrong with my desk. There's always they complain about everything.
The Goldilocks. I love this.
Christine, this is Pooja.
No, that's not true.
Pooja's Goldilocks. Christine, I'm about to be in trouble. Thanks for the call.
Okay, bye.
You also have the denier, which is me. I'm denying that this is true.
You're Goldilocks and a denier.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Today is International Coffee Day, so we're going to celebrate by switching it up and having coffee in the morning. How do we celebrate this? Drink more coffee?
Yeah, I don't know what you're supposed to do on this day. Maybe just appreciate your coffee. Appreciate every sip. And I don't know about you. I haven't had mine yet. So
I've had 2 already.
You have?
Yep.
Wow.
I have 3 every day. 2 of them are at this time, and then another one at 7 when the cafetorium opens here, and then that's it for the day.
It sounds like you don't appreciate your coffee very much. It sounds like you take it for granted.
No, I do. I
just
enjoy
going through them so quickly.
Don't you hear me going?
That's what you do today.
I think, though, nobody appreciates their coffee more than producer Stef, because you revealed something shocking to us. What is it?
Okay, so I was probably about, I'm going to say like 14, 15 years ago now. At Markham Fair, they used to sell green coffee beans. So they're raw.
Okay.
And I bought them and was talking to the person that was selling them, and they said, you can roast your own beans. And I was like, what? Okay, I got to try this. So I bought them, brought them home, and you put them in the oven and you roast them. And there's different...
Like on a baking tray?
On a pan. Yeah, like on a sheet, like on a cookie sheet. And you just spread them out and then you roast them. And
Like 350 for like
I don't remember
12 minutes?
Yeah. And you have to start watching them.
Do you have to turn them halfway through?
No.
One by one?
No.
Okay.
And they pop like popcorn. You hear them
No,
like
they don't.
You hear them like crack.
Pop, pop, pop.
And you know that when they're cracking that they're starting to roast, and then you have to start watching them to see like your level, like on if you want a light roast or a dark roast. And then I found out that the lighter the roast, the more caffeine it actually has in it, and the darker you roast, you got to be careful because you don't want to obviously burn them, and then it gives like a bitter aftertaste.
My!
So when you want a cup of coffee, you start sort of doing this process, and then it's good by next week? Or?
Yeah. Actually, you do have to wait like at least 3 to 5 days after you roast them.
What?
They got to
Okay,
cool
hold on.
down. But
This
I'm
is a lot of
telling
work.
you,
Is it worth it?
It's worth it because it was the best cup of coffee I've ever had with that little bag of beans that I had. I went back the next year and got it too. And then I don't think they sell them there anymore. The Markham Fair is this weekend, so I'm going to go check this weekend. If it's there, I'm going to do it.
Can you roast us some coffee?
I will. And it's not bitter. Again, it depends how you do it. So we did it pretty light so that it wasn't.
But more caffeine if it's
more
light.
caffeine and no sugar, no milk. It was so good.
Okay, so today's Tuesday. I want coffee on Saturday. Can you start now?
No, because I don't have the beans.
Also,
it feels like a lot of work.
How do I also get these beans? Like, where do I go and what do I say? Do I'm like, hey, do you have any green beans?
Yeah.
Is it like wing, nudge, nudge? Like you got to say code
I
word?
went to go look on Amazon. They have them on Amazon. They're quite pricey. I don't remember them being that expensive.
They can be
but
delivered to
have
your
them.
door?
Yes, but then you have to do the work.
It feels like
I'm
too
out.
much work. Like, do you also churn your own butter and burn CDs still?
Maybe.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.